Hey guys, I'm Daisho, and I am here bringing you a game of Magic. This is round 2, game 2 of my match with my deck, which is, to this date, probably my favorite draft deck that I built. But anyway, I lead off with a Crosstown Courier. And I think I've gotten a lot of comments about saying why I'm running Crosstown Courier, and the real reason is because in this, I actually had it built first as a much more control-y version, where I'm running like Essence backlashes and cancels, and I really want to make the game go long, and I'm not really playing for any purpose. My cards are just value cards, but they're not really built towards a goal. They're just kind of in the deck. But when I put my Crosstown Couriers in, and I have Bluster Squalls in, and I have Teleportal and Chemister's Trick, when you put all those cards together, then you get a deck that wants to put a lot of power on the battlefield, and then make your opponent's creatures not be able to block, and then just win the game. So a couple of interesting interactions have already happened this game. I led off with a Crosstown Courier on turn 2, and then he played a Rakdos Shred Freak. I decided to block because I knew my opponent was playing a really aggressive red-black deck, and I just didn't want to get too far behind too quickly. So I realized that if I block here, then I could probably save myself, I don't know, like 10 damage, maybe not 10, maybe more like 6 damage over the game before I can get out something that can actually deal with it in a permanent way, as opposed to just a one-turn basis or whatever, or even something like a hover barrier would be able to block something else. So that was my first thought when I immediately traded my Crosstown Courier for his Rakdos Shred Freak. Then on turn 2, one of the reasons why I was really excited to keep this hand, even though it only had 2 lands in it, and I was on the play, is that I had an Izzet Charm in hand, and I figured the Izzet Charm would be perfect for taking out his Rixmati Guildmage in case he drew it, because that card just absolutely destroys my deck, and it puts me in a really, really bad spot no matter where I am. So then when he played it, I was like, this is amazing. And then that turn, he also put the Deviantly on it, when I don't even have any mana open to kill it. So that was really unfortunate. My Izzet Charm doing 2 damage just wasn't enough. And I mean, I was able to take one of the last 2 cards in his hand out by him Izzet Charming away, or by me Izzet Charming away his Rakdos Key Rune as he tried to cast it. I just used the counter target non-creature spell unless they pay 2 function, so that was useful. But he's got a Skull Rend here for me, so that's a little bit annoying. It ends up not being so relevant because, I mean, he would have been able to get the 2 damage here anyway. And the 2 cards I lose, I guess they wouldn't really have had too much effect on the game. I end up losing a Bluster Squall and a Rune Wing, but he's not doing too much blocking, and Rune Wing only has 2 power. I guess I could have just chump blocked the Rixmati Guildmage for 1 turn, but even that isn't so good because it's only got 2 toughness, so he can just give it trample. But I mean, it does absorb some because it absorbs the trample, and since he has to pay a red for it, then he can't use the other ability, which allows him to just add more damage onto it. But I mean, I've got the hover barrier out, and as far as I know, it's not doing anything. So what I decided to do is just make him waste a turn here. And now that I've got the Goblin Electromancer and the Frostburn Weird, I'm actually starting to do a decent chunk of damage here. Luckily, I draw land. Still not the second red that I need to play my Ash Zealot, but it is definitely useful because now I can swing. I mean, it's just basically added another point of damage, since I can swing in with both, pump the Frostburn Weird twice, and still be able to play a Doorkeeper. So that was pretty sweet for me. Maybe I should, I mean, there's an argument for me just pumping 3 times, taking him down to 8. That way, in case I draw a red source next turn, then I can actually just kill him. And that is probably what I should have done, but I didn't think 2 turns in advance. And I don't think that that's such a bad play, not thinking 2 turns in advance and not really thinking exactly to what card I should be drawing, but definitely something that I could have done and would have been a lot better if I had done that. Whether or not it was a misplay or an error or whatever, maybe not. But anyway, he's going to play a Splatter Thug here, and he has to make an interesting choice of whether or not to unleash it. So if he unleashes it here, then it puts a much faster clock on me, but if he doesn't, then I basically can't, well, I can't attack with the Electromancer, but I mean, then I'll still be able to just block it with the hover barrier. So he's just going to add 1 more point of damage onto the 4 that he had done earlier that turn. And now I feel like I'm pretty safe. If he removes my Doorkeeper with a removal spell, well, then actually I guess that would be pretty bad. If he draws a removal spell here that's not Annihilating Fire, if he draws an Augur Spree, I guess, then I'm pretty dead, because then he can just swing in for 7 and then deal 2 extra to me with the Rix Mounted Guildmage. So I'm just going to take him to 1 here, and as I said, drawing the mountain, taking with getting my Ash Zealot on the battlefield, taking him to 1. So I mean, but I wouldn't have. I guess I would. Yeah, I would have killed him and had a Doorkeeper in hand, which wouldn't have mattered. But if I hadn't been able to kill him, then I don't know. But either way, no big deal. I still end up winning this game. He didn't really draw anything relevant. I think he drew a mountain. He decides to attack anyway, because if I make stupid blocks, then I am dead. But I just end up blocking the Guildmage, and then he tries to trick me by tapping all his mana, but he just had a mountain. So I hope you guys enjoyed this game, and have a wonderful day, and stay tuned for Game 3. Bye.